In a move that stunned the nation and sent shockwaves through the legal community, a federal judge in Florida has taken the extraordinary step of disqualifying the entire Department of Justice litigation team for the state, effectively freezing dozens of major federal cases overnight and leaving the legal system in a state of uncertainty. The judge's 47-page order, released late last night, cited severe and deeply rooted conflicts of interest, forcing the Trump administration to scramble for qualified replacements within an astonishingly short 72-hour window. This is not just a legal drama, it's a full-blown crisis that calls into question the integrity of the Department of Justice and the leadership of Attorney General Pam Bondi, who now faces mounting pressure from both the public and lawmakers. The judge's order reads like a suspense novel, meticulously detailing a web of financial entanglements, undisclosed relationships, and ethical breaches that made fair representation impossible. Legal experts are shocked. Many say they've never seen anything like it in their entire careers. It's exceedingly rare to see an entire DOJ division sidelined in this way, a measure reserved only for the gravest and most extraordinary circumstances, and it has left a vacuum at the heart of federal law enforcement in Florida. The fallout from this decision will be felt for years to come, as the hastily assembled new legal team faces intense scrutiny, and the public is left to wonder how such a breakdown in oversight and ethics could have happened at the highest levels. The story is still unfolding in real time, with emergency motions being filed, careers hanging in the balance, and the nation watching closely to see what happens next in this unprecedented judicial earthquake. To truly grasp the judge's drastic action in this case, it's essential to understand one of the legal profession's most fundamental principles: the absolute necessity to avoid conflicts of interest at all costs. Attorneys are bound by a duty to represent their clients with an unwavering loyalty. Any competing interest, whether it's financial, personal, or even a prior relationship, can threaten the fairness and integrity of the entire legal process. A conflict of interest isn't just a matter of bad optics or public perception. It's a serious ethical breach that can undermine trust and taint the outcome of a case from the very beginning. Picture a prosecutor who secretly holds stock in a company under investigation, or has undisclosed ties to a party in the case. Even the suspicion of such a conflict can erode confidence in the justice system. Or imagine a defense attorney who previously represented a key prosecution witness. These scenarios create unacceptable risks that threaten the fairness of the proceedings and the rights of all involved. Courts make a crucial distinction between the mere appearance of impropriety and an actual concrete conflict of interest. While both are concerning, an actual conflict is far more damaging and directly undermines an attorney's ethical obligations. In this particular case, the judge determined that there were not just apparent, but real and undeniable conflicts, seriously jeopardizing the Department of Justice's efforts and the integrity of the case. Law firms and government agencies have strict protocols and internal checks to prevent these situations. But when those safeguards fail, the fallout can be catastrophic, leading to mistrials, overturned verdicts, and damaged reputations. The Florida ruling shines a harsh light on a systemic failure, revealing how ethical guardrails meant to protect justice were either ignored or broken, allowing conflicts to fester unchecked. The judge's authority to disqualify the entire legal team stemmed from clear, undeniable evidence of a real conflict, evidence that could not be overlooked or excused. This isn't just about the outcome of a single case, it's about preserving the public's trust in the entire justice system and ensuring that every case is decided fairly, without hidden agendas or divided loyalties. When conflicts of interest go unchecked, the very foundation of justice is at risk, reminding us all why ethical vigilance is not just important, but absolutely essential. The judge's order lays out a damning pattern. DOJ attorneys, especially from Morrison and Keefe LLP, were entangled in conflicts. The lead counsel held a partnership stake in his old firm while prosecuting cases against its former clients, a direct financial incentive at odds with his public duty. The judge found that these divided loyalties weren't hypothetical. They actively damaged the integrity of federal cases. Attorneys from the same firm, on opposite sides, shared financial interests and professional histories, erasing ethical boundaries. Confidential information and litigation strategies risked being compromised, making fair prosecution impossible. The structure of the DOJ's Florida team was flawed from the start, blurring lines between public service and private gain. The judge concluded this was a systemic problem, not an isolated lapse, forcing dramatic intervention. The judge's most explosive finding followed the money. documenting 7 instances where major DOJ decisions closely followed large wire transfers to Morrison and Keefe LLP. Over 19 months, $3.2 million flowed to the firm where the DOJ's lead counsel still had a stake. The timing was too consistent to ignore. Payments landed, and the DOJ made decisions that often benefited defendants tied to the conflicted firm. In one case, a payment preceded a dropped witness. In another, a deadline extension followed a wire transfer. The judge argued that whether or not these actions were intentionally corrupt, the financial relationship created an irreconcilable conflict. This evidence moved the case from potential conflict to documented, financially linked misconduct. Justice didn't just appear for sale, there was evidence suggesting a price tag. The judge's order reveals that Attorney General Pam Bondi was repeatedly warned about these conflicts by the DOJ's own ethics watchdog, the Office of Professional Responsibility, OPR. 4 memos, sent over 6 months, escalated from caution to outright alarm, urging Bondi not to appoint the conflicted lead counsel. The warnings predicted judicial intervention if ignored, exactly what happened. The memos show OPR's frustration as their advice was disregarded, culminating in a final memo declaring internal remedies exhausted. This paper trail was crucial for the judge, proving the conflicts were known and consciously overlooked. The responsibility lands squarely on Bondi, who overrode her own ethics experts. The question now, why did she ignore such clear warnings? The judge's order has paralyzed 23 major federal cases, including a massive tech antitrust suit and a sprawling defense contractor fraud prosecution. The DOJ has just 72 hours to assemble a new, untainted legal team, a nearly impossible task under scandal's shadow. The judge's deadline is absolute: no extensions, no appeals. Defendants may seek dismissals for prosecutorial misconduct, while victims and the public are left in limbo. A status hearing is set for Thursday to discuss further remedies, including possible fines, case dismissals with prejudice, or disciplinary referrals for the conflicted attorneys. The legal community is on edge, awaiting the judge's next move. The stakes are enormous. The outcome could reshape federal litigation in Florida for years. The DOJ faces immense pressure to restore credibility and get justice back on track. The entire nation is watching. The judge's ruling triggered a legal and political firestorm. Bondi's office called the order procedurally irregular, but offered no rebuttal to the damning evidence. The DOJ quickly filed an emergency motion with the 11th Circuit, arguing the judge overstepped by disqualifying an entire team. Legal experts, however, say the judge's findings are ironclad. Actual financial conflicts and ignored warnings left him no choice. Former prosecutors and ethics professors call the ruling unprecedented and shocking. Defense attorneys are already seeking sanctions, and the judge has ordered a rapid government response. The legal world is riveted, waiting to see if the appeals court will intervene or let the order stand. As the dust settles from the initial shock, the next steps in this unfolding legal drama are absolutely critical. The atmosphere is tense, and every decision made now will shape the future of this case and the people involved. If the appeals court grants a stay, the process pauses, giving all parties a brief moment to regroup and reconsider their strategies. But if the stay is denied, Thursday's hearing could bring swift and potentially devastating consequences for the Department of Justice, raising the stakes even higher. The judge holds significant power in this moment. He may impose steep fines, dismiss cases with prejudice, or even refer government attorneys for disciplinary action. Each option carries serious implications for the legal teams and for the broader justice system. This episode serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing need for ethical guardrails and unwavering public accountability in government. The eyes of the nation are watching, and the standards of justice are being tested in real time. The evidence reveals a troubling breakdown of trust within the Florida DOJ, where the lines between public duty and private gain have dangerously blurred, leaving the public to question the integrity of those in power. The outcome of this case will likely become a landmark moment in the ongoing debate over legal ethics, setting a precedent for how similar cases are handled in the future. Watch closely for the appeals court's decision, the judge's chosen remedies, and the Trump administration's response. Each will send ripples through the legal and political landscape. The fallout for Attorney General Bondi will be a major story, with her actions and decisions under intense public scrutiny as the case unfolds. This is more than just a legal dispute. It's a profound test of whether government accountability and the rule of law can withstand extreme stress and public pressure. In the end, the nation's faith in justice and the integrity of its institutions truly hangs in the balance, awaiting the outcome of this pivotal moment.